Okay.
We are live.
Finally.
Finally. The time has come.
Session number 8. AD&D Greyhawk solo-ish campaign.
Yeah.
2-man father-son solo campaign. Hey, when was the last time we played?
November 25th was the last time we uploaded a video.
Well,
I don't know when we played that video.
it's been over a month. It's been over a month.
It's been a while.
I've played a couple sessions of OSC at the FLGS, but okay. It's time to get back to it. We recorded a couple of unboxings just to have something to throw up on the YouTube channel, but also because it's kind of cool to see. Like, I like to find stuff.
Yeah.
And so maybe somebody will watch those. But we're not going to release the second one until after this one goes up on purpose because people want to see gameplay. What are you looking at? You see a spider on the wall?
No, I'm looking at the recording.
Oh. Does it look like it's working?
Yeah.
Okay. AD&D. We're trying to find Quasqueton.
The Lost Fortress of Quasqueton.
We're using the Dungeon Master Guide to... We don't need the city map. We're using the Dungeon Master Guide to generate terrain as we go. We've made some mistakes that I've thought about since.
Okay.
One that I thought of is that we were using a uniform movement rate as if we were in grassland, and we did not adjust our movement rate as we generated swamp and moved through it, and we generated rough terrain. Did we even determine what that rough terrain was?
No, I don't think we did.
So we generated rough terrain, and we generated swamp. That should have slowed us down, but we kept going at the same movement rate because when we got here, we generated a town. And we were originally we're going to go straight north, looking for Quasqueton, which is here, but our characters don't know that.
Yes.
And we didn't adjust our movement rate as we went through the swamp. And, something else I want to point out. Even though we are generating this terrain using the rules in the DMG, that doesn't necessarily mean we know what's in these hexes.
Yeah.
Right? They're not fully explored hexes. We haven't even been in them. They're 3 wide. Or 3 miles wide. 1 league, by the way. A league is 3 miles.
Okay.
Did you know that? So we could say these are 1 league hexes.
We got 1 league hexes.
And that would really confuse everybody who doesn't know what a league is.
And we're traveling at 1 knot. I just made that up.
Yeah, don't confuse me any more than I already am. So 3 miles is a league.
The temperature outside is 16 Kelvin.
All right, get your book out. Your notebook has the temperature for the week.
I don't know. I'm just making up random.
All right,
stuff.
throw it down. It is Playleaf Town. Oh, we did that last week, or I don't know. Yeah, last time, a month ago, last session. Okay, Sunday. No, this is still the same day. Starday. It's 32 degrees, average temperature, light snow for 5 hours. So there's going to be snow on the ground.
Does that affect our movement?
It does, and we didn't take that into account either.
Okay.
Yeah. Snow affects your movement. Rain affects your movement. They also affect your visibility.
Okay.
And we didn't take any of that into account. Correct. So again, we don't necessarily, we generated this terrain, but we don't know what's there. We did roll to see if there was any kind of settlements, any kind of ruins. Nothing there, but we can't really consider those as hexes that we haven't been in, and we're walking past them in the snow. These hexes are 3 miles wide. So the point I'm trying to drive home is that these are not fully explored hexes.
Yeah.
We're just on a mission looking for something, traveling straight north.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. But then we generated a town here, and originally we were saying, okay, we can move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we decided that we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We decided that we could move this far in one day.
Yeah.
And but we didn't take into account the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we found this town, instead of going straight north, we decided we were going to go to the town and spend the night there because we're at the end of our movement rate for the day. Is all this making sense?
Yes.
So we were going to do it as if we were in grassland, but we screwed up because we went through a swamp. That should have really slowed us down. We might actually be in the swamp, but let's hand wave it and keep going because let's not go back and try to fix the mistake. Okay. So this is the end of the first day. We're at the end of our movement rate in this town, but we need to generate the town. And that presents really strange opportunities because the town is 3, 6, maybe 9 miles away. 3, 6, 9?
Yeah, I mean, the fortress where we're headed is going to be like closer to the northeast corner of this hex here because it's on the edge of a mountain.
Okay, if you want, that's fine. But still, this village is really close to, and we determined it was a thorp.
Yes.
So it's small.
With a population of 30, which is still higher than what we...
Oh, we did determine population?
It's right there.
Okay.
It's written down.
It's a good thing we wrote it down. We also determined, we did roll to see if we had gotten lost. You roll before the day starts when you're traveling, and we did not get lost. We avoided all encounters, and this is wrong. Because in planes, you roll for encounters morning, night, and midnight.
Yes.
And we reached town before nightfall.
Yeah.
So we left in the morning. We were in town in the morning. No encounter to roll there, not a wilderness encounter, and no wilderness encounter to roll before we got to this town. So so that really, as long as we don't travel at night, that allows us to go back and forth to the dungeon.
Yeah.
Without I keep pausing because Ethan's next to me yawning. He's trying really hard.
I'm doing my best here.
You said yes.
It's 12 o'clock at night, but let's do it.
All right. We haven't played in a month because we haven't had time. Ethan started a new job and he's only around like a day, and that's not. And just being in the mood and having the energy to do this is another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. We want to press forward, or do you want to just hit pause and start it up again in the morning?
Let's play in the morning.
Yeah, all right. I love an honest answer. Okay, so we might just throw this out, or we might keep going. I don't know, but let's hit pause and we'll decide.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
One day later.
And we're live again.
Again, today is Monday. No, one day later. Today is Monday, December
30th.
30th.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're trying. We're trying.
Right.
You know, here's the thing. There's always a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to... So you're working, I'm working. You were going to school, but you're on break right now.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. You've got a very active social life.
Well, also...
I'm out chasing women all the time. No, that's not true. That's not true. All right, what were you going to say?
I don't know. I was just going to say, I do have an active social life, but when I'm kind of sleeping on their couches while I work, yeah.
So,
well, whatever.
You have an active social life.
Yeah.
You're gone with your friends all the time.
Yeah.
Or at work.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
The thing is when we are together, we're tired.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain bit of motivation to want to sit down at the table and, like, break out the books and the dice and like, you got to have some energy. You got to be in a good mood.
Yeah. We're doing this right now at, like, a reasonable time, which is a good thing. It's like we tend to record in the middle of the night, Well, right now we're recording around like 4:45 in the evening, and that's a lot better for me. I have more energy now. So I mean, I don't know. So
it's been over a month. We've been struggling to get back to it, and it's been difficult. But we're doing it right now. We're going to try it again. We're not going to go over everything. We're going to leave in the. So we were playing last night, and Ethan just kept yawning, and he was trying really hard to stay awake. But we're not going to sit here and play D&D while somebody's yawning. It's fine. So we're at it again.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to get this up on New Year's Day.
Yeah. I will do my best to get this all finished, edited tonight.
And that's the other thing. I'm completely reliant on Ethan.
Yeah.
He renders, he edits, he fixes the sound or adjusts the sound volume. He makes the thumbnails. He puts in the little Happy Holidays thing at the end, or he puts in all these little clips and pieces of artwork or whatever. Any editing, Ethan does all of it. And I just take the file and put it up on YouTube, and then I spend a ton of time
doing all those
making the chapters, the timestamps, which I gotta watch the whole thing through at least once to make the timestamps, and then I write out the description, and I try to include links to all the other people, the YouTube channels who we're saying hi to, and other things like that. And then after all that, so even after we get one of these things recorded, it still takes us, like the first unboxing video, you went off, you were working, it took a week. It took
us like a week to get that edited and uploaded to YouTube and all that.
It seems simple. You take everything out of a box, you look at it, and you throw it up on YouTube. No, it took a week to do that because we have lives. Okay, we're back to it. Not going to rehash everything from last night. We have a village, and we were going to. Oh, let's write down. Would you? Or here, I will.
Okay.
Monday.
December 30th.
December 30th, 24. And in game, it is Starday, Growfest 1576.
Yeah.
CY, but it's in the evening. It's like at the end of the day. We've been traveling all day. We walked from Bloom Peak to this new village that we found. That's where we're going to spend the night, but we don't know anything about it. We know it's got a population of 30. Growfest 1, Common Year 5, 76. Okay. Do we need to carry anything else over from here? No. Encounters are on a 1d12, but those are the only times that you roll.
Yeah. We do have to roll night and midnight while we're there.
No, we're in a town. These are wilderness encounters.
Yes, okay.
This is for exploration in the wilderness.
Yeah. Sorry. Brain fart.
Yeah, we're in town. So I mean, we could roll for urban encounters. That I don't think that exists in this book or this book.
Okay.
There are third parties that have made, and here's one actually, that have made tables of urban encounters. Why do I have that stuck in there? Government tables, Mid-Chemian calendar. Okay, I don't know why I have that stuck in there.
May have just gotten...
It got stuck, yeah. So there are third parties that have made urban encounters.
Yes.
I'm not really prepared for that. I haven't prepped that. I haven't decided on one. Like I just got Joe Block's Book of Lost Tables. It has urban encounters in it. I don't like all that stuff I recently got in the unboxings. There's like 3 different books there that have urban encounters tables. I haven't picked one. I haven't prepped for it. I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay.
Let's use this to try to generate this thorp of 30 people.
Yes.
And spend the night and head out.
Yeah.
and not get too involved with like the middle name of every NPC in this town.
Okay.
Agreed?
I agree.
Okay, let's do it. And will you be the scribe and sort of flip the page? And
Page has been flipped.
Yeah, you be the scribe. We're going to create a town. Let me look here.
I just realized we've got all these wires in the shot. Hold on.
Oh, does that bother you? Okay.
No, it's just because we
they're hanging out in the way.
Yeah, we had to move some stuff around earlier, and then I forgot to.
Okay, that's fine. Do we want to roll on marriage proposals?
I don't think we need
or
to do that.
Or offending people? Let's see, page 52. Let's see if we offend anybody.
There's this one guy who we've offended over and over again in our OSC campaign.
Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, I know. One of our other... Actually, I did... well, whatever.
Okay, roll a d10. Wait. Roll 1d20 to determine the person offended. Most results will... it's 1d20. All right, okay, roll a d20.
Okay.
Most results will modify subsequent chances of imprisonment. What? If you should be accused of a crime, which is a completely different table. So take note of your character on your character sheet of who was offended. Okay, what'd you roll?
2.
A 2. Oh, we offended an aristocrat. You must pay him D percentage of your total worth or go to jail for D6 weeks. Or leave town.
For D10 weeks.
Is it D10? It doesn't say. It says or leave town D10 weeks, I guess for...
yeah.
Minus 10% to conviction rolls. I don't know what even that means, but okay.
I don't know.
All right. This is a fun book.
Yeah.
Missions, taverns. Ooh, we can roll up taverns, inns, and hotels.
Interesting.
Huh? Traffic density? Okay.
Maybe that's for like a road.
Here, villages.
Yeah.
Cities and towns.
Village building tables, perhaps.
Where?
Page 31.
31 or 33?
31.
Okay.
Building your own cities, towns, and villages.
Oh. Draw out a bird's eye view map of your village. If the community has 70 or fewer dwellings, it's blah, blah, blah. Count the number of buildings in your village. Proceed to the proper column. Oh, we don't know. Proceed to the proper column in table 1A, composition of buildings. Tables, determine how often a farmer's market is held in your village. That's cool. Table 1C, 1D, and 1E are used to determine who is at the fair. Okay, we don't need any of that. We just want to roll a village. Okay, number of buildings. Oh.
Is it a percentage die?
Well, okay, there's 30 people in the town, so we're going to say it's 3 to 10 buildings.
Okay.
Okay? So this is a chance of it occurring. So is there... most small villages own some equipment building in common, such as fishermen had a building for nets and boats. Farmers have a building for workhorses, oxen, and or plows. Okay, so let's just roll several times to see. So there's a 95% chance it has a communal work building.
Okay.
Roll it. D 100. Do you know which one is the...
Yes.
Okay.
47.
47. Okay, so write it down. There is a communal work building. Let's just call it.
Okay.
Okay. Temple shrine. Roll. There's an 80% chance of having a temple or a shrine.
That's a 95.
Oh, so there is no temple or shrine.
Okay.
Wait. No, there is. Okay. No, we rolled over 80%.
Yeah, no.
No temple or shrine. Now, this is interesting. 2 asterisks. Next business is the same. Chance that a second building with the same business is present. See paragraph 2D of instructions. You got to go over to here. Okay. But we don't have one. Okay, healer. Let's roll to see if there's a healer. Let's see. Healer might include a village shaman, priest, cleric, old woman, etc. Okay. 50% chance of having a healer.
38.
Okay, so there's a healer. And that's going to be a cleric, shaman, old woman, etc.
Okay.
All right. 25% of a blacksmith.
That is 40.
Okay, no blacksmith. There's a 25% of a tavern or stable.
Or
what's
tavern.
NBS is next business same role. I don't know.
Okay. 95.
Okay, so there's no tavern or stable.
Okay.
5% chance of a mill.
90.
2% chance of a carpenter.
38.
Nope. 2% chance of a mason stoneworker.
That's 2.
Okay, we got a mason / stoneworker. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 20% chance of a government official can be, the baron or knight living in the castle nearby. What castle nearby? the local mayor or a tax collector. Anybody representing the local government.
Yep.
Okay. Government official?
That's 45.
There's only 20% chance, so
Yep.
no.
Okay.
Okay, roll a d10 to see how often there's an open market.
7.
Once a week.
Okay.
All right. No, sorry, none.
None. Okay.
So let's actually note that. Skip a line, right? No open markets. Or no... Yeah. No... What would you call that?
No farmers markets held.
Yeah, something like that. No farmers market. Like every now and then they have a little market they open up in town where people all come to sell their stuff.
Okay.
But they don't do that here.
Yeah.
Okay. Contents of the open market.
We don't need
that. Okay. And it lets you roll for booths. Okay. Chance of the following occupations occurring at the market, but we don't have a market.
Okay.
Chance
Also
of
at the market.
occupations from city business tables. No.
Appearing at the market, though.
No. Oh, appearing at the market, but we have no market.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that's for towns
So
and cities.
is that it? I feel like we're missing something.
So, we have 3 buildings, plus I guess the remaining would be homes.
Okay, but we don't know how many buildings there are, do we?
No, but
3 to 10.
Yeah.
We rolled on the table for 3 to 10 buildings because there's only 10 people in the town.
Yeah. No, there's more than 10. There's 30. Right? Hold on. There's
okay, this is not perfect.
There's 30 people in the town, not 10.
Right.
Yeah, you said 10.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, these are suggestions for who or what occupies the buildings not included on the tables.
Okay.
That's weird. I mean, there's a great list. Charcoal burners, miners, fishermen, firewood sellers, wealthy shop owners, school, warehouses, orphanage. Like, tons of... So this is for towns and cities, though. This is all for towns and cities. Shantytown, fisherman's village. No, but that's part of a city.
Yeah, there's no fishermen here.
Okay, I thought that there was, like, city catch-up, a player's guide to characters' activity. So this is the section about downtime. But
Got it.
I thought there was a section that just let you roll building your own. Cities, towns, and villages, building your own. I thought there was like a 2-page... I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like I'm missing something here. So this is for rolling different aristocrats. Oh, here you go. Busy street.
These are
Quiet street. Nighttime. So this lets you roll urban encounters.
Yeah.
And this is cities from Midkemia Press. A magician. Whatever. Slaver. I thought accidentally bumped. Okay. More. Okay. Encounter matrix tables. Okay, so this is all about rolling encounters in a town or a village, but this starts with town. It does not start with village. Wealthy quarter, merchant's quarter. This is for town. You can roll to see what you encounter. I really thought... These are all encounter table. I really thought there was a way to generate a town here. Village building tables, 33. So we have a communal work building. We have 30 people. We have a healer. We have a mason. Village populating tables. So if there were 51 to 70 buildings, you would roll here. So there's a a communal work building, very small chance of that in a great big city.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
95% chance of a temple or shrine. Okay, I would almost say 100% chance, but government official, it's only 20% chance for a small settlement and for 95% chance for a big settlement. So that makes sense. Okay, again, not step-by-step instructions for rolling a town. But we know we've got 30 people. We don't have a name. Let's call this New Town, whatever.
Newton.
Uh-huh. we don't have a name. Do we want to mess with a name? We found it.
Well, I'll come up something at some point. I don't know.
Okay, we're going to spend the night.
Okay.
We've already gone through our character sheets and taken off all the rations that we spent on that first day. And we'll hand wave it.
Okay.
I don't know. We're staying in a tavern. We're camping in a field outside town. I don't know. I want to get to the dungeon.
Yeah.
So we found a new town. It's got 30 people. It's got a communal work building, a healer, a mason.
We can go back to it later and flesh it out when we need to. But, I mean, having a healer that close to the dungeon is very helpful.
True. True, but they're only going to be able to cast like one spell a day.
Yeah, but still. I mean, sure. If we got someone who's so low, we can...
So we need to learn more about this town, but we'll leave it alone for now.
Yeah.
Okay, we are 3, 6, 9 miles away from the dungeon, although we don't know it. The question is, this town is only 9 miles away from Quasqueton. Somebody's got to know where it is.
Yeah, some kid's got to have wandered away and walked around in the forest and run into it at some point.
So would it be fair to roll a d6 and say only on a 1 in 6 can nobody tell us where to find the dungeon?
I think that's fair.
Does that make sense? Like there's a 1 in 6 chance that we can't find anybody in this town who knows where Quasqueton is.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're looking for. We're rolling into town and we're asking everybody,
yeah,
hey, where's Quasqueton?
Yeah.
Is there a reason they wouldn't tell us? I don't think so. It's an abandoned fortress.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a reason they wouldn't tell us.
All right, so is that fair? So let's roll a d6. If we roll a 1, then we cannot find out from anybody in town where it is. 5. Okay, so somebody in town is going to tip us off and say, yep, This is where it is. You go due east into those forested hills, and then for 6 miles, and then go 3 miles northeast, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
And there's an old crumbling tower.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to somehow send a message back to the assassin who stayed behind.
Okay.
And like we decided that the magic user was a party leader. I think that he is going to view the assassin as a spy, not as an assassin.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Spying is also a role that assassins take in this game.
Yeah.
The assassin class can also act as a spy.
Mm-hmm.
They have those skills. So say he's joined the group as a spy, but he's also sort of peripheral. He's not with the group. Otherwise, we'd have
Problems.
personality disputes.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how much is it going to cost me to send somebody to Bloom Peak to send a message to...
I'm going to pause real quick.
Okay.
Manamana do 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 do. Manamana do 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 do. Manamana do 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 do.
Back? Okay, so we just hit pause real quick. We're not even going to edit this stuff. We're just going to keep on going. That's the joy of solo gaming at home, is you can just hit pause and Ethan can go switch his laundry. Oh, did you... It's
What?
probably picking up the laundry machine in the background.
I thought about that. I don't know.
Sorry, folks. We're just going to keep going
Yeah.
because it's been over a month since we played. We're trying to get through this. Okay.
Yeah. We got
Try.
like an hour to finish recording because we got to leave in an hour.
Less than that.
Yeah. So let's get to it.
All right, let's keep going. Just keep an eye on the time.
All right.
All right, it gives in the DMG expert hirelings, standard hirelings, and expert hirelings, and how much they cost. There is no messenger. So, my question is, which one of these do you think is closer to a messenger? I'm leaning towards Teamster. It's not Tailor. Pack Handler? Nah. Mason, no. Link Boy, no. Limner, no. Leatherworker, no. Carpenter, no. Bearer is 1 silver piece a day. A Teamster, that's somebody who drives a wagon.
Yeah, but you don't really need someone to take a whole wagon there. It's just one message.
Oh, a lackey is 3 silver pieces a day.
That makes sense.
For
A
messenger?
lackey. Yeah.
All right, so going there and back with a message,
About 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
So we'll say it's 6 silver pieces to send a message to the assassin that says, "Hey, we found a village. This is where we are. Start moving in this direction."
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to cost him 6 silver pieces. Okay. Okay. I'm adjusting my weight at the same time.
Well, Mama's adjusting her weight at the same time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What is
Surprised you didn't respond with the normal response, which is you want to call her and ask. It's usually what you say.
that? Well, what was your joke again? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was doing math.
I don't
Your
even
mama's
remember.
what?
Oh, you said I'm adjusting my weight at the same time, and I said your mama's adjusting her weight at the same time.
I'm not going to call her and ask her that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I will call her and ask her if she's as big as Nevon Nevnend, because I think you told that one once.
Did I?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But I'm not going to do it right now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So next day
Yeah.
is Growfest.
2. 576 CY.
2 in the year 576 common year. And the weather, the next day, we wake up to
light snow all day.
All day light snow.
37 degrees Fahrenheit.
37 degrees Fahrenheit.
Southwestern wind.
Our
10 miles per hour.
average temperature, 37 degrees. Okay,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that we missed before was movement rate, and there's information in here for oh, I'm in the wrong book probably. Here, you look in there, I'll look in here.
Okay, what am I looking for?
We're looking for movement rate. We're looking for the
Rates of travel.
Yes.
Page 3. Okay.
Okay, so grassland to, let's skip the grassland and go to desert.
Okay.
Grassland to desert. Desert rate of movement if we're encumbered.
Yeah, a foot encumbered. Yeah.
Unencumbered or encumbered, that's all it gives you. So desert is 10 miles per day. What was plains? I don't even see it here. Grasslands, 15 miles per day. Okay, that's why we were able to travel that far.
Yeah.
So this is going to knock us down to 10 miles per day, and then we're going to get into hills.
Forested hills.
Forest, heavy forest is treated as jungle. Okay, we'll just treat it as hills.
Okay.
10 miles. Okay, so hills and desert, 10 miles a day. Grassland, 15 miles a day. So 10, so that averages out to about 11 miles a day. Like if we go from here to here, we can travel in about 11 miles.
Yeah.
Or we can go about 11 miles, and that's
So
less.
we'll get there before dusk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's less than a day's travel, even adjusting for this different terrain.
But we also, it's light snow.
Right.
That affects our rate of travel as
Right,
well.
and that's in here.
It's not by rate of travel?
Say all that again.
It's not on that same page where, oh, maybe terrain effects?
Terrain effects.
So we've got precipitation, temperature, and wind speed.
Yeah, there's something here. Standard weather table. Yeah, it shows you movement rate. So what do we got? Light snow?
Light snow.
Snowstorm light. Wait, there's an asterisk. Drifts of 1 foot per hour will occur if wind speed is above 20 miles per hour. Flip
It
the
is
page.
not above 20
Okay.
miles per hour, I don't believe. I believe it's 10. Yeah, 10 miles per hour.
All right, so this will actually, you can roll a d8 and find out how many inches of snow we're going to get.
Okay.
Roll a d8.
1.
Okay, so just write 1 inch of snow.
Okay. Where'd my pencil go?
1 inch of snow.
Oh, I got my cleric with it too. All right.
And these things keep popping up and sticking everything. Okay. 1 inch of snow today. Duration we already know. Okay, movement rate. F times X 3/4. What?
We get to do algebra and D&D.
Okay,
Okay.
F is, foot travel is, X times 3/4. Oh, 3/4. So
3/4.
3/4 is, so it's going to knock our movement rate down by 1/4. So what do we say it was? 11?
11.
So it'll be about 8 miles in the snow.
Well, yeah. So
That we can
can't
travel.
even make it there.
Over this terrain in
Yeah.
the snow.
So we can't even effectively get there.
Range of normal vision is 3/4. And also if you're tracking, see that's, okay, negative 10% chance of tracking. Chance of getting lost. Ooh. Is that a plus or a minus 10? I can't see it. I'm too blind.
I can't see it either. Hold on, let me see.
Put it on the table.
I can't see it. Plus 10.
Plus 10 chance of getting lost?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to roll our chance of getting lost. We forgot to do that. It's very hard.
I think we roll at the beginning of the day to see if we get lost, right?
Oh, but we don't have to roll because we know where we're going.
Ah, okay.
Any party not guided by a creature knowledgeable, not using a well-drawn or corrected map. I don't think we have to roll because we know where we're going. We got directions from somebody. And
Okay.
we've been through some of this terrain before.
Okay.
So we don't have a chance of getting lost. Fine. Okay. So we're down to about 8 miles travel with this weather and this terrain. So 3, 6. That puts us just shy. That puts us like
about a mile away.
right in between these two hexes.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
about a mile away.
So we're going to go camp in the snow.
Yeah.
And that means we have to
Build
roll.
some igloos.
That means we have to roll D12 for a
Encounter.
random encounter.
D12.
1 and 12.
4.
Okay, no random encounter. But we also have to roll at midnight.
Okay.
Roll it again. 1 in 12 chance.
11.
Good. No, see, that's where you get walloped, man. You're
Yeah.
outside. You're in the snow. You're camping out. It's only an inch of snow.
Yeah.
And you roll up like a green dragon, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these tables can be terrifying.
It's yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are. Okay, so this day we travel from. Or here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just making a note. On this day we're traveling from. What was that?
Update virus protection.
Oh.
Windows security.
Are we still recording?
Yes.
We're traveling from Newtown to Quasqueton.
Quasqueton. Okay. Yeah. We're about a mile shy of Quasqueton.
Okay, so finish.
A mile to the.
I think that's 2.
Well, but we figured we can travel 8 miles, but it's 9 miles away.
1, 2, 3. No, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
So we're a mile
Finish
to the east.
1. No, to the
Sorry, to the west.
southwest. Is
Yeah,
what it looks like to
mile.
me.
Yeah,
Finish 1 mile
to the southwest.
southwest of Quasqueton.
Yeah.
No encounters. But we do have to roll again in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll bring us bright and early to the gates of Quasqueton.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got to mark off.
And by the end of
ration.
this day,
Yeah.
Let's see, message. Received by assassin in Bloom Peak. So next day he's gonna head out to this town.
Yeah.
Wait, is he though? Alone? I guess so. That's awfully scary.
I mean, he's probably walking back with the messenger. Not that a lackey is gonna do much, but
Oh, I like that.
he is most likely gonna make his way back with the lackey. He's not. I mean,
Right.
right? The lackey's probably going straight back. He's being paid 2 days to go there and back.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lackey is showing him how to get back to town. And he's taking him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to put us into the next day, Growfest 3, correct?
Yes.
What did we forget to do? Growfest 3.
Mm-hmm. 576.
Thank you. I was going to write down the name of... Moonday. Sunday and Moonday. 33 degrees
33,
average, clear.
But 20 mile per hour winds.
That's okay, but it's clear. It's just hovering around freezing temperature.
Yeah.
So the snow is probably going to hang around. Maybe it'll be a little slushy. Moonday. So this is Moonday. Not Monday. Moonday.
Yeah. Sunday, Moonday.
And this was Sunday. Sun and moon. Sunday and Moonday. Okay. So that's where we're at. The party is here.
Yeah.
1 mile southwest of Quasqueton, in the woods, in the forested hills. Let's roll up, because we went through the desert, let's roll these 3 hexes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll pull that out, do a little more world building.
That's a D20, if I remember correctly.
And this is going to put us at the dungeon at last.
Yes. Well, we can really even roll like these 3. And yeah.
I'm sorry. I am looking for all the encounter tables. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Roll a deeper set. A D20.
It's a D20. 8.
For this one is an 8. Plain. Okay. Okay, roll another D20.
5.
And again, these are not explored hexes. We're just going by them and generating them as we go by them. But these are not explored hex. Oh, wait a minute. Roll a D100. Oh, wait,
Why?
that was for habitation.
Oh.
But wait, hold on, because we just rolled the
5.
5. The 5 is also plain. Okay.
Okay, D100.
Yeah, roll a D1. Anything under 17 we're interested.
That's a 2.
Oh, that's something right here.
Okay.
All right, just stop and slow down. Let me color this in. That's a 2.
Yes.
You can look over me and see what it says while I'm coloring.
Okay.
A
Use
single
random-
dwelling.
All right.
Let's just put a dot.
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually... Where was it?
Oh, there's a key in the front.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh. No, but it doesn't have single dwellings.
Oh, okay.
The smallest thing is a town on this key. Here, a dwarf is a circle. A dot is a hamlet. So we have a single dwelling here. I will just make it draw a little house.
Okay.
That looks horrible. Does that look like a house?
No.
All right, you draw a little house. I can't do it. All right, I'm gonna roll a d20. It's a 10. Next hex is also a plane. Okay, so that other hex is also a plane.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're now in the 3rd day of the campaign. 3rd day of gameplay. 3rd day on the calendar, let us say, since we began.
Yeah.
The Greyhawk calendar. We're a mile away from Quasqueton. We're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to do this now, but what we will have to do next we will have to key the dungeon. We will have to generate. So there's 2 pages here of advice how to key the dungeon.
Okay.
It's not great, and here's why. What?
Yeah. No, I'm
You're
listening.
smiling. So look. If you look at the module,
Yeah.
every room has a blank spot for monster and treasure, and where the treasure is in the room.
Okay.
Okay. It kind of assumes that every single room is occupied by something,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah.
And this doesn't tell you whether or not to roll for a monster. It just tells you here's 25 different monsters you can use.
We can like flip
you can't
a
roll
coin to see if it's inhabited. You know, and then from there on we figure out what's in there.
So I'm going somewhere with this.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm going somewhere with
Okay.
this. They don't give you a rollable chart. Notice there's 25.
Okay.
You can't roll that unless you use multiple dice, and then you've got a bell curve, and so you can't roll 1 to 25 randomly using dice, unless you use multiple dice, and then you've got a bell curve, so it's not an even distribution.
Yeah.
So they just give you a list of here's a bunch of suggestions of what you can put in the dungeon, but they don't give you a chart, which kind of sucks. And they don't tell you what percentage of these locations should be occupied.
Yeah.
Because it's normally not reasonable that every room in a dungeon is going to have a monster and a treasure.
Yeah.
It kind of assumes that you're just going to stick a monster and a treasure in every single room in the dungeon.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should do that.
Stick a monster and a treasure in every room? We could.
Should we do that? Okay, well, so I found a couple of interesting resources about solo.
I think the boss at the end of the dungeon should be Yo Mama.
Well, we don't even know where the end of the dungeon is going to be.
I know, but we come upon the boss at the bottom.
Is that all you got? Is
700 hit die?
the dungeon boss is your mama? That's
700 hit die.
Okay, your characters can go in there. Mine will not.
But maybe she'll just give you a hug.
A 700 hit die mama?
Maybe she gives you a hug and
I don't know where
and you
you're
get
going with
paralyzed. I don't know. Okay,
Drink your beer.
I did.
That's the problem.
Ah.
Too much beer.
I've only had one.
I'm just looking at the time.
Okay.
Okay, nobody has yawned yet.
No yawning.
Yay! Oh! Before I get into this, we need a movie reference.
Ah.
It's obligatory.
Okay. I was thinking Anchorman.
Okay, go.
Okay. Brick, where'd you get a hand grenade?
I like lamp.
Brick, are you just naming things in the room?
Milk was a bad choice.
I've been saying that for like the last week at work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
don't
anyway.
don't start talking about work
I
on
won't.
the internet. Okay, milk was a bad choice. He's walking around on a hot sunny day in San Diego drinking a carton of milk.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
good. So good.
Yeah, where'd you get a hand grenade? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that. What is it? 60% of the time it works all the time.
All the time, yeah. What was called Pet Panther or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sex Panther. It's called Sex Panther. 60% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah.
He
Ron,
walks out, it smells like gasoline in here.
Ron, can you tell me what diversity is? Why, yes, I can. It's an old wooden sailing ship. So it's such a good movie. Okay, so there's a movie reference. All right, moving on to this.
Yeah.
I found two things that are cool. Two articles. One's by Gary Gygax, Spring 1975 Strategic Review number 1. This is the first magazine put out by TSR before Dragon Magazine. They changed this into Dragon Magazine.
Okay.
Okay? But before Dragon Magazine, they had this newsletter called Strategic Review. And in the very first one, special first issue feature, Solo Dungeon Adventures by Gary Gygax, with special thanks to George Lord, I don't know who that is, preliminary testing, Robert Kuntz, and Ernest Gygax. The very first issue of Strategic Review, Gary writes a guide to how to solo play D&D.
Cool. That's awesome.
Isn't it?
So you can see, like, even back then...
The very beginning.
Yeah, he was already thinking people are going to want to do this and they don't have anybody to play it with, so, you know.
D&D was 1 year old.
Yeah.
When he wrote this and published it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool.
So I highlighted a few things, but the problem is, because it's so old, back then, D&D was pretty much just dungeon diving.
Yeah.
You made a character, you went in the dungeon, you fought monsters, you found treasure, or you died, and then you went back to town, and then you came back the next day and did it all over again.
Yeah.
That was pretty much D&D. There was some wilderness exploration, but it was kind of crude compared to like the options we have today, or the options that are in
the DMG.
Yeah, in the Greyhawk guide and everything else. This in the very beginning is pretty much just done. So the solo gaming guide is table after table after table of how to generate your own dungeon when you don't have a dungeon master.
Cool.
So, but I wanted to, and the glare is horrible, but I wanted to go over a couple of things. I highlighted a couple of lines.
Glare's not that bad.
So he talks for a while about how, you know, it's hard to find a party and blah, 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 or to find a group. He says, now break out your copy of D&D. All right, let's follow instructions. Break out your copy of D&D. Okay. Your dice. And plenty of graph paper. And have fun. Oh, we forgot the last thing.
Dang it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wait, plenty of graph paper. We need more than one piece. Okay. Okay, so we're following that.
Yeah.
That's an instruction from Gary in 1975, how to solo roleplay. Okay, then he goes on talking about the upper level, the first level. This is interesting. He says whatever you develop, save it because you can then use it for a game group.
Cool.
So so that's interesting. But okay, this is the interesting thing to me. I highlighted, discretion must prevail at all times. For example, okay, and then he goes on to say, like, if you roll up a dungeon that goes off the edge of your graph paper, just make it a dead end and don't do that. So even though he's got all these tables here, he's saying use discretion. Don't follow the tables to a point where you're going to get something that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Common sense will serve. I highlighted that. You know, if a room doesn't fit, blah, blah, blah. Okay. At all times, you are serving in two roles, referee and player. So be sure to keep a fair balance.
Makes sense.
And the way I interpret that is there needs to be a way for us to fail, or it's not a game.
Yeah, I agree.
All right? Or, but conversely, we can't... Oh, come on. Who's calling me?
I'll pause it.
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, I won't pause it.
Yeah, no, pause it. It's Grandpa. We're on? Yep. We're back? Okay, we're back. Grandpa called, had to answer the phone. Okay, so, where was I? Oh, at all times. Okay, so he's talking about keeping a fair balance. Great. Now, he goes into, like, how to roll, where there's a door, where there's stairs, all this stuff. There's one thing in here that I thought was interesting and useful to us. There's so much glare. Okay. Chamber or room contents. Okay. This is a D20 table of how to roll what's in a room.
Cool.
But get this. 1 to 12, the room is empty. On a D20, that means there's a 60% chance that a room is empty.
Yeah.
That's not given in here. In here, it just assumes that every room's going to have something in it. But I also know for a fact that in the original Castle Greyhawk, the very first dungeons that Gary made that he was using to playtest D&D before it was published, the first level I have the original first level of Castle Greyhawk. Like a version of it was published by Trollord Games. I don't have that. They're going to be publishing it again in the future. They just got permission to do it. But I have, like... I'm not going to go into how I have it, but I have Gary's map and keys for the first level of Castle Greyhawk.
Cool.
only about a quarter of the rooms are occupied. Like 75% of the rooms are empty.
Okay.
He did not put a monster in every single room.
Yeah.
Like you never know when
What's
you
on the
enter
other
a
side of the
room.
door.
Yeah. So following this, you're just going to assume anytime you go anywhere, you're going to run into something. But that's not really ideal, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
So on this chart, for original D&D, just a year after D&D was published, published, 60% chance of a room being empty.
Okay.
And before that, there was about a 75% chance of a room being empty in the original Castle Greyhawk first level.
Yeah.
Somehow, I think we're going to have to kind of work that out because we're going to use the encounter tables, the dungeon encounter tables, to give life to this dungeon. But we have to decide, not right now, but we have to decide, are we going to put a monster in every room, a treasure in every single room, or are we going to do something like this where
60% are empty? You could.
It's not a very big dungeon though, so I mean that really.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of empty rooms in that dungeon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we could just roll a d10, 1 through 6 it's empty, anything higher it's got something in it, and then roll on the encounter tables and see what's in it. Yeah.
True. So let me go through this though. Okay, so this is on a D20 and I think it's fascinating. 1975, Gary's Guide to Solo Role-Playing.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. So 1d12, you got an empty room. 13 or 14, so there's a 10% chance, monster only. And then it says go to the rule book to determine what the monster is. 15 to 17, so that's a 15% chance, monster and treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there might be a monster with no treasure. There might be a monster with a treasure. Okay, 10% chance, 60% chance, empty. 10% chance, monster only. 15% chance, monster and treasure. Then you've got a 1% chance, if you roll an 18, of special or empty. And what Gary describes is that you find a partner who you're not playing
5%
with.
5% chance, but yeah.
5% chance. On an 18 on a roll of D20, that it's either empty, so that's, again, more than 60% chance of being empty. So I guess you roll 50-50, special or empty. And if it's special, okay, get this. So that would be only at about a 2.5% chance of having a room that's special. And what he suggests you do is you fill out a bunch of tricks and traps and put them in envelopes and seal them and give them to a buddy and have your buddy do the same thing for you. And then as you roll a special trick or trap, then you take your buddies. That way you're not.
Yeah.
That way you're not metagaming.
Yeah.
Fascinating. 19. If you roll a 19, that's 5% chance of trick or trap. And then in here, there's a table for tricks and traps.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a 20, there's a treasure, no monster, just a treasure. So there's a 5% chance, just a treasure. Cool. So we could follow this.
Yeah.
And we could roll on this and just, we could use this because this does not give this information. And it really should because it's made for new DMs. It's supposed to be written for brand new DMs to teach them.
Yeah.
What are you concerned about something?
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, you keep looking aside.
I just glance at it every once in a while, make sure it's still going.
Oh, okay. So I think we could use this.
I do too. Yeah.
So okay, and then the rest of it again is just random dungeon generation. But this in 1975 was a guide to solo D&D.
Cool.
Very cool. I found one more. From Polyhedron number 15 in 1983, an article by Roger Moore, Do-It-Yourself Solo Adventuring in AD&D Gaming. It's only 2 pages, 3 pages. It's not a lot. I did highlight some of it because, again, there's lots of advice out there for solo playing OSE, BX, BECME. There's lots of people on YouTube, lots of people blogging about it. There's lots of information out there about it.
Yeah.
as far as I know, we're only the third YouTube channel to ever do a solo run of AD&D, and the other two aren't doing it anymore. Like, as far as I know, we're the only people
actively doing this right now
in public doing a solo run using AD&D.
Cool.
There's not a lot of information out there about this, but there is an article that I found from Roger Moore, 1983. Polyhedron was the RPG role-playing game association, gamers association. It was the RPGA newsletter of the day. So I highlighted some stuff I want to go over. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It says, think of it as a chance to test your skills at real game designing. Now, throughout the article, he keeps saying that if you're solo gaming AD&D, that you're actually game designing. Like, he considers it a form of game designing.
Makes sense.
So that hadn't really occurred to me, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
The number of player characters or major characters involved, their level and class, how they should be outfitted, the nature of the immediate adventure, arena, dungeon, wilderness, the homelands presently known to the characters, the mapping system used, and the system for determining reactions of NPCs to the major characters should be noted beforehand. Holy cow. So the system of determining reactions is in the DMG. And he writes this article as if it's not in the DMG. So I don't know if he forgot about that or if he doesn't consider that to be intended for NPC reactions. I don't know, but that's interesting. But he gives a list of everything that you should do before you even start. I don't know. We didn't follow any of that, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
He says, it is preferable in these types of games to run more than one major character. Okay, sure, of course. Outdoor adventures, because of the power of monsters one meets is so much greater than in a low-level dungeon, should be of respectable level, 4th or above. Outdoor adventures. So he's saying don't go outdoor adventuring solo unless you're 4th level or above. Travel in groups of at least 3 or 4. Henchmen and hirelings may be used, blah, blah, blah. But the gamer should try to keep the number down to manageable levels. Okay, then he's got different kinds of solo gaming. And that's interesting to me. Arena combat, dungeon adventuring, and wilderness adventuring are the 3 different ways that he sees you can solo game. So I guess in arena combat, he's just saying your character against other characters, and he actually gives you some rules in here about how you can become famous as a gladiator.
Yeah.
What happens if you win? What happens if you lose? You don't necessarily die. He says you should use, it should be frowned upon to kill somebody in arena combat, and you should use non-lethal. But most solo AD&D games involve creating an imaginary arena and producing characters that will go into combat against other characters or monsters. Most solo AD&D games involve creating an imaginary arena? Most?
I guess some people just want to run combat.
It didn't even occur to us to just create an arena and just play.
And just run combat, pretty much.
Right. I guess that's not. But is that role playing? If you're just running combats? That's not really,
you're pretty much. Yeah, I don't know if it's really role playing.
It's not exploration. You're just running combat.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of
I think it's
put a town next door and have that.
And he does that. He's got all this. He's got all this stuff in here. I suggest awarding about 100 gold pieces per fight. If this is too long to wait, up the stakes to 500 gold pieces per fight because you can only fight so often. Yeah. He's got all these rules in here for running a solo campaign just as a gladiator.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Dungeon adventures. Dungeoneering expeditions in solo games are more difficult to run than arena battles, it says. And here's how he says to start. Simply declare that there is a dungeon somewhere, which we did, with an entryway matching one of the starting configurations of the random roll dungeons. Okay, whatever. Create your party, which we did. And then have them proceed to investigate things, which is exactly what we're doing, but I just found this article. Like we just started doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't read this before we started this solo campaign.
Cool.
So we're doing exactly what he's suggesting. Test runs of the system will need to be made to fine-tune it to your enjoyment. That's for sure. The whole thing is a test.
Yeah.
If you have the major characters search a room, you can make up a chance they discover some old furnishings using dungeon dressings, Appendix 1I in the Dungeon Master's Guide. That's cool. Stray coins, or slain monsters and characters from past, assumedly unsuccessful adventures. So he's giving you ideas of what you should allow yourself to find or randomly roll in dungeons, but he's not giving tables. This is part of the joy of game designing. Again, he keeps going back to game designing. He considers this solo gaming to be game designing, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
In dungeons, unlike arenas, not all beings your party meets will necessarily be hostile. So that's your reaction rolls. Make some notes on creating tables to determine the reaction. Again, he gets into that again. And then he says some creatures will attack mindlessly. We know this.
Yeah.
Though fire may have a chance to drive them away. I mean, he goes on and on about how different creatures are going to react to the party, but it's not like gameable information. It's just like food for thought.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yes.
Am I putting the world to sleep?
No.
Okay.
Just watching the time, that's all.
You would do well to exclude artifacts from treasure lists, but any other sort of item may be uncovered. So that's interesting. There's a whole bunch of artifacts in the random treasure list.
Yeah.
It's rare to get one, but he's saying if you're solo gaming, don't use artifacts. Interesting.
Does he say why?
Treasure should be reasonable, but again, you are the only player, so whatever you decide goes. I think he feels that it's unreasonable if you're solo gaming with an artifact in your hand.
Okay.
They're super powered,
super
powered. They're like objects from the gods.
Yeah.
That are very rare, but they can be found.
Got it.
So he's suggesting don't use them in your solo campaign. As a final thought, you might set it up so the characters have a place to go back to rest up, be healed, and so on. You might set that up. You have to set that up. You could create a friendly but slightly greedy high-level major cleric in as a non-adventuring character who will cast the needed remove curse or raise dead spells for a price to keep the campaign rolling. Yeah, that's true, but I think we're just going to go to a major city if we need to find somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah.
unless we just randomly roll them up.
Yeah.
Okay. Use the clerical spell cost table in the DMG, of course, as a guideline for making up magic user spell costs. Right, so the DMG gives you cost to cast certain spells. Mm-hmm. Like you need to go to somebody to get something identified or to get healed or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's guidelines on that in the DMG. Finally, there is the most complex situation of all in soloing. Hiking through the outdoors. Now we're into the wilderness part, and he's saying that that's the most complicated part of soloing. And that's how we started.
Yeah.
Hiking through the outdoors, generating terrain, screwing up our movement rate.
Yeah.
That's how we started. And he's saying this is the most complicated situation for soloing. The adventure setting could start from a town or castle with a 20-mile radius around. Okay, we've got a 30-mile hex that we're working on mapping.
Yeah.
Because outdoor encounter tables can include both high and low level monsters. Again, he's saying you need a larger, more powerful party if you're going to be soloing in the wilderness. But I mean, we have to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, we got to get there somehow.
Yeah. I mean, if we were going to just strike off cross country and just randomly roll everything in our path for days on end,
yeah,
I guess that's what he's talking about.
Got it.
Henchmen and hirelings may be invented using random tables. Yes, we know. Assume that major characters have been adventuring for a long time and may have accumulated quite a bit of treasure and money beforehand. No. We're starting at first level.
At that point, you're pretty much just making pre-gens, so
right.
I don't really like that as much.
Right, and earlier he said if you're going to do adventuring in the soloing in the wilderness, you should use 4th level or above. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Let's see. The player rolls on the random wilderness table. Then he goes and talks to you about this. He talks to you about that. Okay. The possibilities are endless, though producing a satisfactory campaign may prove difficult at times. I think we've run into that. We haven't been able to play in a month and a half or over a month. That's not a satisfactory campaign when we can't get the energy or the time to play.
That I concur. Yeah.
Solo characters in regular games. Then he goes on, it says, generally not a good idea to use your solo characters in regular gaming campaigns with other players. Your way of playing solo AD&D games might not fit at all with the DM's way of gaming. If the DM and players look over your character and agree to allow it into the game, well and good.
Makes sense.
The greatest blessing for a solo gamer is a computer system. This is from 1983.
Yeah.
Okay? 1983. The greatest blessing, this is under final thoughts, for a solo gamer is a computer system using programs designed to take care of the often tedious die rolling that may appear. In other words, all these tables, imagine if we didn't have that website to generate weather, we would have to go through table after table after table after table every single day, rolling, just to find out that it's going to snow an inch today.
Instead, we can just go on that website,
click,
spit out a week of weather, and
we're
move
done.
On. Yeah,
exactly. It's awesome. But this is 1983. That didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying, like, go program something into your Apple II Plus computer that will help you generate treasure, monsters, whatever. But
that'll take you 3 days for the computer to calculate.
Right.
Yeah.
1983.
Yeah.
But in 1983, when hardly anybody had a home computer, he's suggesting computers. I thought that was interesting.
That is very interesting.
Okay. So, we're at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Our game starts at 6:30.
Yeah.
We're going to pause.
Okay.
When we return, we'll do viewer feedback.
Comments.
Yeah. Video comments. We're not going to do the comments on the unboxing videos. We'll do the comments. We're just going to stick to the solo campaign comments. Okay. So we're going to go play D&D.
Cool.
And then we'll come back and we'll continue this, and hopefully we'll finish it. And I don't know. We'll see how we feel. Maybe we will start going through this and rolling stuff.
Okay.
Or we could just stop and say, okay, we're a mile from the gates of Quasqueton. We are ready to start keying the dungeon.
Yeah.
We have a description of every room, but we don't know monster and treasure. So that's where we're at right now. And we are in our third game day of the campaign.
All right.
And
cool.
That's where the party is. And the assassin, on this third day, he's going to set out to go to this town. We've got a town that we haven't named yet. Oh, Solitary Dwelling.
That's it. I wonder who's living over there.
Yeah, how do we figure that out?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Okay.
How do we figure out a solitary dwelling? Interesting. Single dwelling.
Maybe it's like a farmhouse. I don't know.
Population 1 to 12. Okay, roll a d12.
7.
So there's 7 people, so we got a dwelling. That would have happened on this day?
Yeah. It would have been, this day.
Found dwelling. How many people? 7?
7.
7 people. We'll have to revisit that.
Yeah.
There's a farmstead, family of 7. Or,
Yeah.
It may not be a farm. It might be herders. It might be miners. There's 7 people in a house.
Maybe there's 7 witches waiting to...
3 miles north of this town that we just found.
Yeah.
Could be witches. So how do we... What if it is 7 witches?
I don't know.
There is nothing here that says where to go from there. We're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to dig around.
All right.
Okay, let's go play D&D and we'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right. Yep, we're live.
We are?
Yeah, I can cut that part out where you said yeah.
What?
All right.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Comment time.
Comment time.
The
Okay,
time
we're
has
back.
come. Yeah.
We just went to the friendly local game store. We played Old School Essentials. Our character survived. We slaughtered many kobolds.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of them.
a bunch of undead, too. A bunch of zombies.
Yeah,
stuff.
zombies and ghouls and skeletons and some weird big skeleton monster thing.
Good time. But we're going to press on with this because, I don't know. It's been a month since we put something out. So, let me put my phone away. What did I just do?
I don't know. I pulled up the comments.
Oh, okay, I wonder what I just showed on my phone. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so
you got to go all the way back to
first video.
Yeah.
We got 2 new comments.
How do you know that they're new?
Because I remember reading that one in the last video.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know that these are new.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, relatively new since the last video we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right. So this is from our first solo campaign video. We have a new comment.
Yes. Okay. So we have a comment from 00646 who says, "So you're telling me that a female made the legendary Greyhawk map for the sexist bigot Gary Gygax. What a world."
Yep. So a little background for anybody who doesn't know. But the people who own the game, Dungeons and Dragons, have lately been publishing books and making public statements on YouTube and other social media in interviews where they claim that everybody who created Dungeons and Dragons was sexist and racist. Like all the typists, all the editors, they claim were all sexist and racist. It's a complete lie. And so what he is doing is he is sarcastically reacting to the fact that the Darlene map of Greyhawk was created by the great artist Darlene. And there were also many other women involved. The name Dungeons and Dragons was Heidi Gygax, I think.
Cool.
Who named the game. Yeah, there were lots of women involved, mostly guys, but lots of women involved. It's something going on right now in the community. Unfortunately, the people who own this game, the copyright and the trademark to this game, are behaving badly. They're slandering people. They are incompetent and dishonest, and it's very sad, and that's what that comment's about. Yep, you made your point, man. Let's move on.
All right. Eldrad Wolfsbane.
Hey, man, thanks for coming along.
Yeah, says, how very cool, an actual AD&D group.
Yep, thanks, Eldred. He's I don't know, he's like an OSR guy. I don't know. He's also developing his own. He's got a bunch of stuff for sale on Drive-Thru RPG. I think he's like got an OSR RPG of his own that he's publishing. I'm not real familiar with it because I'm just totally focused on AD&D mostly. But nice guy. He hangs out in a lot of OSR circles online. Thanks for coming along, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No new comments on episode 2. I'm checking episode 3 now. Nope. Nothing on there. Wait. Yeah, no, nothing on there.
What are you up to?
I'm checking episode 4 now.
Okay. We're just checking old episodes to make sure we don't miss any comments. It's just more personal to respond in person than it is to like type out responses, don't you think? It's like more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the idea from Tim Kask.
Yeah. Was this a new one?
Yes. Okay. But let me see the one before that. Yes, not that one. Yes, that's
okay,
a new one.
Just that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What video is it from?
That is from episode 4.
Comment on episode 4.
Yeah,
okay.
From Authoritative News Network. Says, I thought one was for PCs, the more granular one, so they can know how fast they can move. Read as Flea. through dungeons, while other was for handling larger bodies of troops/monsters.
I gotta read it. Can you pop it back up for me?
Yeah.
I thought one was for, maybe they're talking about movement. Let me see what he's talking about. The more granular one, so they can know how fast they can move through dungeons, while the other one was for handling larger bodies of troops and monsters. Sorry, man. I'm not sure what you're asking about or talking about.
I don't really remember what happened in episode 4, what he's referring to.
I thought
there.
one was for PCs. Maybe he's talking about encumbrance,
perhaps.
so they know how fast they can move through dungeons, while the other is for handling larger bodies of troops and monsters. I bet he's talking about encumbrance. Like, in other words, I'm just guessing. There's 2 forms of encumbrance. One is armor-based, and one is based on how much weight you're actually carrying.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's saying. So, like, the one that's armor-based is like a more war-gamey type of... Right.
How fast your mercenary troop can travel.
Right. Yeah. Like if this group has leather armor and this group has plate mail, then the one with leather armor is going to move faster.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes right out of wargaming. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Whereas you're not going to like weigh all the gear that's carried by
each person.
And in wargaming, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But at 1-to-1 scale,
you can do that.
Yeah, we absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, we're melting it together. We're using our movement rates. We're using a combination of what type of armor we're wearing and how much weight we're carrying. We're combining it both together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did respond to this one, right? Yeah, we did. Yeah.
All right, let me see. I think that's a new one? No, I
remember responding to that one.
Okay, but no, the first one he did was didn't say greetings. It said like bedonk. Oh,
I think we said bedonk.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, sorry, hold on. Let's check episode 6. I don't know which of these we definitely did that one. Did we do these 2?
Yes.
I think we did that one too.
Thanks for the Frog God Games shout out. Teagle Manor's latest iteration is terrific from Michael Gross.
I think we did that one. Maybe not. I don't remember.
Yep. You're welcome, Mike.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool. Teagle Manor's, Frog God's version of Teagle Manor is pretty cool. I'm glad to have it.
Yeah. Okay. Here we definitely have some new ones.
Everything on that, is it 7? Episode 7?
Episode 7.
All right, every one of those is new.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah, so make sure you take them in order.
Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to read this one, and then afterwards I'll read the replies to them. Sound good?
Yeah. Who's it from?
All right. From Arcadian Hobgob. Says, I'm starting to think the older guy doesn't actually want to play. Just read the lore and the rules to us. Yeah.
What do you think?
I do know you want to play because when it's just us, you do read we talk about the rules and
you have to though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, we do. The 2 of us do that anyway. So I know you want to play because we're doing this here, but you want to explain everything, all the background, so that people know what we're doing and how we're playing this.
And so you know.
Yeah.
And also for myself, because quite honestly, this is a lot to remember.
Yeah.
This is a lot to wrap your head around.
I agree.
And like, it's so easy to forget before you move out in the wilderness to roll to see if you're going to get lost. It's so easy to forget. It's so easy to forget what your visibility is with your weather. I got to talk through it just to try to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
But I do love these rules. I do, and I'm guilty as charged. And I do love the lore of the setting. Man, it's so good. And the fun thing is that we can create our own lore for this setting as we play.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
And maybe one day in the history books of Greyhawk, they will mention our great party traveling.
No,
Okay.
no, nobody's ever going to do that.
What if we
only in our own
unless we
imaginations.
write the history book for Greyhawk, and then we can anyway.
This is it right here,
Yeah.
man. Gary wrote it. We don't need it.
Yeah, but that only goes up to CY 997.
No,
Oh, that's
576.
yes, yeah, 576.
You're
It
right,
was
but he
written-
also expanded it into 579 in Dragon Magazine. We talked
see.
about that. And yes, I love talking about this setting. It's a great setting. It was developed by people playing the game, but not just people playing the game. It was developed by people who read Jack Vance, people who read Michael Moorcock,
Yeah.
Fritz Leiber.
Yeah, and I remember when I was reading
Robert
The
E.
Dying
Howard.
Earth by Jack Vance, and I
Yeah.
kept running into these things where I was like, this
is in
feels
D&D.
Yeah, this feels like it's straight out of D&D.
Well, it's
Like
the other way around.
No, I know that, but I was introduced to D&D first, and then I went back and I read The Dying Earth, and
So
it
no longer
feels so close.
So
you
no
know?
longer do you have to read a book and just get lost in it. Now you can read a book and go live in that world in your imagination
Yeah,
through a character, through a game,
yeah,
thanks to Dave and Gary and a lot of other people
yeah.
that unfortunately the owners of the game are slandering. Okay, go on.
Okay, so there's two responses to that comment. The first one is from RWU Studios that says...
That's R Dubs.
Oh, sorry.
That's what he goes by.
Oh, okay. R Dubs says, hey, that's just what us old guys do. Ask my son.
Oh, his son says that all he does is talk about the rules and lore.
I guess so. And then...
What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's cool. It's fun. It's fun to, like, talk about all these different rules and the lore,
Yeah.
and I mean it's cool. It's cool.
Where's your player's handbook?
Right here.
Pull it out of that. Yeah. So there's a list of spells in the player's handbook, and you might think, whatever, they made up a bunch of spells and they just thought it was cool.
Well, a lot of these are from Jack Vance, and I know that because I encountered them there.
Correct. And the idea of a named spell, Nystel's Magic Aura,
Yeah.
Rary's Mnemonic Enhancer, the idea of a named spell came from Jack Vance, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Every one of these levels has a certain number of spells.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you see
Yes.
these spell listings?
Yes.
Okay, so level 1, first level magic users, has 30 spells. Level 2 has 24 spells. Why? Level 3 has 24 spells. Level 4 has 24 spells. Level 5 has 24 spells. Why does level 1 have 30 spells? Okay, but wait. When you get to level 7, it's down to 16 spells. Same with 8th. And then when you get to level 12, it's down to 12 spells. Do you notice that those are all even numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, there's no odd numbers of spells at any level for clerics, magic users, or illusionists. I've seen the spreadsheet that Gary Gygax and Len Lakofka used to develop these spell lists.
Okay.
And they very meticulously wanted a certain number of spells for each level so that you could roll randomly and there would be a certain percentage chance of each one coming up. Okay.
Okay.
And and they carried forward spells from original D&D, but for some of the levels they didn't have enough spells. For some of the levels they had too many spells. So for some of the levels they had to drop some spells. For some of the levels they had to create spells. Like Nystel's Magic Aura was a spell that Gary created because he wanted another spell at first level. Okay. And the two of them worked out meticulously. They didn't just go, oh, here, this would be a cool spell. Yeah, okay, well, how many spells do we have? 15? Okay, whatever. Like they statistically worked it out so that you could roll randomly, and also they had game balance reasons for how many spells they wanted at each level for each class. Okay? And they created, when they were putting this together, like Gary shared the manuscript with Len, and Len was his collaborator. Len gets no credit for this.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've seen the spreadsheet where they're working out meticulously what are the odds of rolling up produce flame for a second level druid. And then they're considering, well, maybe that's too likely. Maybe that's not maybe that's not likely enough. And then they were adjusting and adding spells or taking away spells just to get this just right.
Yeah.
They put so much effort into this, and they created spells just to get the spell listings the way they wanted. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not just a haphazard thing. It's smart people working on statistics and also using that literary background, that literary inspiration to inform the game so that the game would be playable and fair and balanced, but it's not really balanced. It wasn't,
Yeah.
they didn't concern themselves with balance like we do now.
Yeah.
But they wanted things to make sense. They followed the law of common sense, and sometimes they failed. Sometimes they produced something that just was screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, this is brilliant. And so, yeah, I like talking about it. And I'm not going to make any excuses for it. Okay, go on.
Cool.
All right, what's the next? And Mike said what?
Yeah,
or who said what?
Michael Gross responded to that and said, R-dubs, yes, I feel seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, if you don't like game design, you shouldn't be a dungeon master. Sorry. I don't mean to be so confrontational. I don't mean to be disrespectful. But as we showed in that article by Roger Moore, like being a game designer, being a dungeon master is a little bit of being a game designer, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people who create role-playing games today are not game designers. They don't know the first thing about game design. They have big YouTube channels. They have millions of people to follow them. So they put out a Kickstarter and they make a ton of money, but they don't have any idea how to make a game, right?
Yeah.
But these guys, these were real gamers and ladies, these men and women of lots of different ethnicities. They were real gamers. They were real artists. They were real creative people who loved great stories and great settings and common sense rules. They liked to study history and biography and geology and astronomy. That's why we know so much about the astronomy of Greyhawk and why on and on and on and on. So yeah, I do. I like it, and I like talking about it. And
Cool.
No, it's not. Is it gameplay? Technically, no. But I love talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Go on. Did I go overboard?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Cool. R-dubs says...
And by the way, I got no bad feelings towards that guy. It's cool. He's ribbing me or maybe he's insulting me. I don't know, but I got no hate for him, man. It's all good.
R-dub says, amazing sound check, Ethan. I expect another. So I'm going to respond to this one. My dad doesn't know this, but I actually kind of did. It's not a sound check, but I included it because he was doing it earlier when the camera wasn't rolling. But I earlier when you were doing something, I came in here and I recorded.
What'd you do?
I did Phenomena. Do, 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 do.
How did you record me? Oh, you recorded yourself.
I recorded myself doing it.
Oh.
So it's not a sound check, but I did do kind of.
Is it going to be in this video?
It is yeah.
Where was I?
In the bathroom.
When I went in the bathroom, you were sitting out here doing Phenomenon?
Yeah, because when I was switching
for how long?
I just did like one round of it. Is quick, but because when we paused, we paused, And I went to go switch over my laundry, and the whole time I was switching over my laundry, my dad was sitting here with the recording paused, going manamana do 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 manamana do 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 do, and it got stuck in my head. And so then he was like, "Oh, I gotta go," and while he was doing that, I came in here and I recorded that.
That's the joys of solo gaming. You can just like stop and go do your laundry, or stop and go to the bathroom. You don't have to wait for the DM to say, okay, it's break time.
Yeah.
You just say, it's break time.
Yeah. So it's not a sound check, but I do a little bit of singing in this video. So enjoy that. I hope you do.
So you did manam.
I did.
Manam. Manam. Oh, my voice is cracking. My voice is cracking. My voice is cracking.
Oh man,
I'm going through puberty.
You're a little late.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. R-Dubs says.
By the way, that's from the Muppet Show.
Yes.
And if you didn't know that,
then
your parents didn't raise you right.
Yeah, I grew up with a whole CD set or DVD set of all of the Muppet Show. And
because that's good TV, man.
It was great.
Best movie ever made.
Oh, it was
hands
amazing.
Down.
Amazing.
The Muppet Movie.
The Muppet Movie is amazing.
Great characters. Great story. Great villain. A man who will stop at nothing to get huge frog legs for his chain of frog leg restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There has never been a better villain in cinema history than a man who will travel across the country hunting a sentient frog just to enhance his frog leg chain of restaurants.
And the funny thing is we actually harvested some frog legs in our game earlier.
We killed some giant frogs, and one of the players kept the frog legs, tied him to his mule.
Yeah.
And then we ended up giving him some kobolds that we felt sorry for.
Yeah, they were like kobold orphans, and it
was fun. Okay, go on.
Okay. Anyway, R-Dub says in another comment, "I am that I am" is from the book of Genesis.
Okay. Go on and read the whole thing.
That is the whole thing.
No, there's more.
That's it.
I know there was more. Oh, did he edit it? No?
That's all that's there.
Okay. Oh, that's R-Dubs. Okay, there's going to be more on this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you, man, for pointing that out. I am what I am. Duke Ehyeh from the... I don't have them... Okay, hold on. Oh, get ready for a glare. The Duchy of Tenh is ruled by His Radiance.
Yes.
Duke Ehyeh.
Yes.
Of Tenh. And we were like, Ehyeh. And then discovered that it's a Hebrew word, and we didn't
talk towards the camera.
Yes, so it's a word from Genesis. Yeah, keep going because we're gonna get back to it.
Okay.
Thank you. Actually, it was Exodus.
Yeah. Well, we looked it up. We found it in Exodus.
Yeah, we found it in Exodus. But okay, go on.
Okay. R-Dubs again says you rolled up #desert swamp. This is a great sign.
We did?
I think so.
We rolled up a desert swamp?
Well, we've got a swamp there and then a desert right there.
But there's rough in between.
Yeah, there's 3 miles in between the swamp and the desert.
So this is 3 mile hex of desert, right?
Yeah.
So this is not... for our own imaginations of this landscape.
It's not really a desert.
This is not like blowing sand dunes. This is just a dry area.
Yeah,
it's
but
dusty and
we also
rocky.
went through there earlier, and there was precipitation. It snowed.
Oh, so that's okay. It snows in the desert.
No, I know, but
it does snow and rain in the desert. It just doesn't do it very often.
But I mean, if we're not even into winter yet, and it's already snowing like at least half the days this week. How much is it going to snow in the future?
This is almost a subarctic climate, and we rolled a desert.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but yeah.
Antarctica is a desert.
Yeah, but it doesn't... there's not a lot of precipitation in Antarctica, which is why it's a desert.
Right.
But here, we're getting a fair amount of precipitation.
For these 2 days.
Yeah, but if it's only it's the first of
So
spring.
why is
and
that a desert?
Probably,
Why is this area so dry?
I mean,
I don't know.
this week it's I don't know where it went. Where did we write down
the page before, just the
Yeah.
page before.
At least this week we've got 2 days of snow, 1 day of drizzle. So that's 3 days just this week where it's
So
snowing.
how is that a desert?
I don't know.
It's a dry, dusty, rocky place. Why? Maybe it's elevated a little bit, so there's no groundwater under the surface, under the immediate surface.
But the groundwater isn't what makes it a desert. It's the precipitation that makes it a desert, and there's a fair amount of precipitation. So I don't understand.
Not necessarily. There are swamps that exist because many, many miles away there's lots of water falling and flowing into the swamp.
Yeah, but we're not talking about a swamp. We're talking about a desert.
So all the water that falls in this area runs off away from this area.
Yeah, but there's still precipitation
Yes.
in that area.
Yes. And in every desert gets some precipitation. I don't know.
The point is it doesn't happen that
So
often.
so this is a flaw, is what we're deciding?
I think it's a flaw because I mean again, if you were to change the terrain generation based on climate, it would get very complicated very quickly. But I don't think in this climate where it snows fairly often, it seems, that we should be encountering a desert. It just doesn't make sense.
While
to
we're
me.
on this subject, there's a guy named Fluid Druid who has a blog that I was looking at, and he looks at those terrain generation charts,
Yeah.
and he looks at a 30-mile hex, and he breaks it up into 1-mile hexes. We've broken this up into 3-mile hexes.
Yeah.
He works out the math using those charts. He says in a 30-mile hex, if you're rolling for 1-mile hexes, so
Yeah.
there's to be 3 times as many hexes here,
Yeah.
you'd come up with 25 villages. But we are rolling with a 3-mile hex, so that should give us, about 8 villages.
Yeah.
So statistically, according to his math, because we're using 3-mile hexes in a 30-mile hex, we should, once we've rolled all of these hexes, we should come up with 8 villages in here.
Yeah.
And then he said 7 castles using 1-mile hexes, which means we're not going to see very many castles. Maybe we'll see
1
two.
or 2. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. This is an experiment. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we'll see. All right. Next up is also R-dubs. Says we use depression rolls as layer or features and give it the parent hex type. So that would be planes for us.
Oh, so he's saying that this should be either a layer or a what?
Or feature.
Or a feature. Okay, so I think the way to regard this, because we already decided this is an area of sinkholes,
Yeah.
even though it's rough, it's generally plains, except
Yeah.
there are sinkholes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that agrees with what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he commented on his own comment and said, Judges Guild movement obstacle tables has one with layered built into terrain features for depressions.
Layer or layered?
Layered. Laird.
Judges Guild movement obstacle tables has one with layered built into terrain features for depressions. It is scaled at 0.2 miles, but does work as a check at the...
It says mics, but maybe miles. Okay.
Did he mean layers? Because the S is close to the D on the keyboard, right? But he capitalized it.
WAS.
A layered is a unit of land. But I think he means layers. It just depends if he means layers or layered. But he wrote layered. Judges Guild movement obstacle tables has one with layered built into terrain features for depressions. Layers built in. It's probably layers built
Okay.
into. So if you roll a depression, then it has a table where you can roll layers in the depression, apparently. It is, stop moving.
Sorry.
It is scaled at 0.2 mics. It's probably supposed to be miles. It is scaled at 0.2 miles, but does work as a check at the hex level as well. Normally, 0.2 miles, you're going to use squares. You're not going to use hexes for something as small as 0.2 miles. So that's what he's saying there. Mm-hmm. I don't have that, or do I have that? Judges Guild's Movement Obstacles Tables. I don't know what publication that's in. It might be in the Hexagon subsystem. It might be in the Wilderlands campaign setting, one of those books. I don't know where to find those tables that you're talking about. Who was it? R-Dubs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where to find those tables that you're talking about, but thank you.
Okay. Next is from T. Brochez.
Sounds good. T. Brochet?
T. Brochet?
I don't know.
Okay. Says, fairly certain the Tower of Zenopus is meant to be placed in the Viscounty of Sallinmore, right next to Saltmarsh. Maybe this is an anachronism, though. Keep up the videos.
It is not only an anachronism, but it is a travesty perpetrated by a company that starts with an H and ends with an O. Okay. Read it one more time.
Okay. Fairly certain the Tower of Zenopus is meant to be placed in the Viscounty of Sallinmore, right next to Saltmarsh.
Stop. Okay. Okay, where do we start? So, Saltmarsh, we know the location of on the Greyhawk map. It's been in the same location from the very beginning. The Tower of Zenopus was placed to the west of Saltmarsh in a recent 5th edition publication called Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I really don't like it, and I'm going to say why.
Okay.
It introduces tieflings to the Greyhawk setting. It's not honest with itself about being part of the Greyhawk setting. And in that book, they take the Tower of Zenopus and they place it in a random place on the coast to the west of Saltmarsh in the Greyhawk setting. Here's why that's a problem. I mean, it normally wouldn't be a problem, but they didn't do their research, and they don't have anybody on their staff who knows anything about the Holmes box set or the Tower of Zenopus that it came from. Because if they had bothered to read it, they would find that the Tower of Zenopus is located on a cliff overlooking the ocean near a large city. I don't remember the name of the city, but I think it's named in the module that's in the Holmes basic D&D box set.
Yeah.
There is no city in Greyhawk anywhere near where Hasbro decided to place that dungeon in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. It's just like something random they just stuck in there. Okay? And if you look, I don't know how far down this rabbit hole I want to go, but no, and no. Tower of Zenopus does not have an official placement in Greyhawk. It was created by J. Eric Holmes, who was not a creator for the Greyhawk setting. Greyhawk setting. Greyhawk setting. It's a great module. And J. Eric Holmes was a great creative for Dungeons and Dragons. And I would absolutely drop the Tower of Zenopus in the Greyhawk setting somewhere. But where they stuck it makes no sense because, and what they ignored is that there were 3 modules, U1, U2, U3, The first one is The Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. It came out of the UK, the TSR's office in the UK. It's really good. Okay. There was a second module that takes place to the west of Saltmarsh that centers around a lizard man community that is involved with smugglers smuggling weapons to them. And it's connected. I don't want to say too much. Okay. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's because they're being attacked by a community of Sahuagin. I'm probably saying it wrong. Who exist further west along the coast.
Yeah.
And in the water, in the ocean. Point being, they ignored all of that for that stupid Ghosts of Saltmarsh book. Okay? They just... They have no concept of what they're doing. It's so frustrating to me. It's so frustrating to me. And they just randomly stuck a half demon, a tiefling, in a town, Saltmarsh, in the Greyhawk setting. Like, any tiefling walking into any town in the Greyhawk setting would be immediately tied to a stake and burned alive.
Yeah.
Anything from the lower plains would not be just hanging out in town, like drinking milk. Come on. It's so bad. So what you're talking about is the Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but I urge you... Okay, pause it. I'm going to go get them. Pause it. Go. We're back?
Yep.
Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. Don Turnbull. Awesome guy. Back in the 70s, he was a diplomacy gamer. He was a board gamer. He was a war gamer. Really big gamer hobbyist in the UK. And so much so that Gary Gygax went over to the UK and chose him to open up TSR's offices in the UK. Dave Brown, somebody else from the TSR offices in the UK. Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, Danger at Dunwater, and I don't have the third one, I'm embarrassed to say, and it's a little bit expensive, so I haven't wanted to pay for it. But what's the third one called? I can't remember what the third one's called. Hasbro does not do original things. If they need something original, they hire outside contractors to come in and write stuff for them. The rest of the time, they just take stuff from creative people like Dave Brown and Don Turnbull, and they slap a bunch of plastic, stupid artwork on it, and they stick a tiefling in it, and they publish it for lemmings, for sheep to buy. This is really good stuff. This is the original stuff. It's really good. It's so much fun. This is a fun module. Level 1 to 3. It's a great way to start a campaign. Ghosts of Saltmarsh has no soul. All it is them reaching back and taking good stuff and rehashing it with 5th edition rules. That's all they're doing. There's no creativity in that company whatsoever that I can detect. And I'm so sorry to get negative, but it is what it is. If you want to learn about Saltmarsh, get these modules. And you 3, I don't have it. I don't have a copy to show you, but if you want to learn about it, take your, what's it called? Something at what did I just say? Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Yeah, take that and sell it on eBay. You'll be lucky if you get half price. And go get these, because these are really good. These are really good, and they are located on the Greyhawk map. Oh. Heck, it's the other one. I'm not going to go get it. They're located on the Greyhawk map on the south coast of Keelland. Right. Nobody, and I mean nobody, who works at Hasbro knows what I just said. And I am not drawing a paycheck. I just read. Okay, go.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm ranting. I'm getting negative. But it needs to be said. It just needs to be said.
All right. Well, our next comment is a positive.
Oh, wait. Okay. Who was that, though?
That was T. Brochet.
Hey, man. Again, I don't mean any hate towards you. I'm not mad at you. It's just that you just don't know about this. So I'm happy to be here to tell you about it. Go check this out. It's really good. And like younger people who think that 5th edition is Dungeons and Dragons, it's like putting a backgammon board in a box that says chess and selling it to people. They're both board games, but they're not the same game. And you're being lied to, quite honestly. And the people who wrote Ghosts of Saltmarsh say that the people who made Saltmarsh, well, I'm not going to say what they say, but they've been actively slandering the people who made Saltmarsh. It saps all the fun out of the game. It's a game. Like, get in there and play it and like appreciate the creativity and forget the people who just do nothing but plagiarize. And yeah, it's just been frustrating lately. Okay. I mean, if I don't like somebody, I don't like somebody. I'll go tell them I don't like them. I'm not going to wait until they die and then insult their families by lying about them in public.
Fair.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Please continue. I can't stop.
Our next comment.
All right. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Our next comment.
I can't stop. I don't want to be negative. I just want to have fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Our next comment is from our friend in Belgium, Denola J, who says...
Yeah. Oh, and he's not the bearded Dutchman. He's the bearded Belgian. Yes. I called him the bearded Dutchman at some point on accident.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, man.
Says, today in Dutch with the bearded Belgian, the Dutch word for the map is de landkaart. No.
We have to learn another Dutch word?
I like learning Dutch.
Okay.
It's like...
De landkaart.
De landkaart. Though you can shorten it to cart, or I feel like it's art. I don't know. There's 2 A's.
That can also mean card.
If you want, but that can also mean card.
So cart is probably like cartography. It's probably the same root word.
Yeah.
So cart can mean map or card in Dutch, is what he's telling us. But the proper word is, or the proper way to say the map is de landkaart.
Yes.
Okay, so what have we learned in Dutch so far?
Okay.
Bedankt is thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome, or don't mention it, is graag gedaan.
Yeah.
And the map is day. Is it day like in Latin languages, or is it D?
I don't know.
Oh, well, it's also D in some Latin languages. I'm going to assume it's day, like D-E, or is it like de?
I would think de, like de
landkaart. De landkaart, because it's more of a Dutch is not so much of a Latin language as it is a Germanic language.
Yeah.
So de landkaart.
That's what I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
De landkaart means the map.
Yeah.
That's it? Just the map? Land. Okay, but it's probably not land. It's probably land. De landkaart.
Yep. De landkaart.
De landkaart.
Okay.
That's our best guess. We're not going to Google it right now. Hey, thanks, man. Did he say anything else besides teaching us Dutch?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
All right, in another comment, he says, all right, besides being Belgian, I am also a religion teacher.
Oh, here we go.
I am that I am is the Hebrew name of God. The way to pronounce it has been lost for more than a millennium since the fall of Jerusalem in about 70 A.D., and while Christians have tried to piece it together, Yahweh or Yehovah, it is generally taboo to pronounce it in the Jewish community due to the commandment to not use the name of the Lord in vain. And then in parentheses, he says, only the high priest once a year in the temple for a specific sacrifice will pronounce it, But since the temple has been destroyed since the fall of Jerusalem, that sacrifice has not been able to be made, and the knowledge on how to pronounce it has been lost, as ancient Hebrew does not have what we would call vowels.
It's a lot to unpack. Yes and no. Some of that is correct.
Yeah.
Some of it's a little incorrect.
Yeah.
So let's go through it line by line.
Okay.
Okay, we've got the original Hebrew here for you, man. And we found it in Exodus. We looked it up. Okay, so start one line at a time. And let's let it end with this. Let's not get too far into religion.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting question because it ties into Greyhawk. Because
actually, the next comment is also on this topic.
Oh, okay. You want to read it?
Okay.
And
it's from. It's okay. It's not really on this topic. It's adjacent, but continue.
All right. So, go through line by line. Read the first line.
All right.
This is from Denelage, the bearded Belgian.
Okay. He says, "I am that I am" is the Hebrew name of God. And yeah, I think that's correct.
It is a name.
Yeah, like it is a name of God. Yeah.
It's considered a name because
in Hebrew it's Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh is what it says here.
Right. So it's considered all right. So it's when Moses is talking to the burning bush and God is speaking out of the burning bush, and he's like, who are you? And God says, I am that I am. Right.
Yeah.
So, but actually it says here's something. The translation here is a little bit different, but not a big deal. What did I do with it? I lost it already.
Well, the line is right here, at the top.
Oh, I shall be as I shall be. So it's future tense.
Yeah.
Ehyeh. Ehyeh means I shall be, not I am what I am. It's future tense. It's so it would be I mean you could say I am what I will be, but a better translation is I shall be. I shall be.
Yeah.
So, but because that's the way God identifies himself in the Bible and the Torah, that's okay. Go on.
Okay.
Next line.
The way to pronounce it has been lost for more than a millennium since the fall of Jerusalem in about 70 AD.
Okay, correct. Agreed with all that.
Yeah, and while Christians have tried to piece it together, Yahweh or Jehovah, it is generally taboo to pronounce it in the Jewish community.
And you just did.
I know. And he is correct on that. It is generally taboo.
Yeah, we usually don't say those words.
Yeah. To use the
because in Hebrew it's actually spelled Yud-Hey Vav-Hey,
yes.
And this word Ehyeh is spelled Aleph-Hey Yud-Hey. So they are not spelled the same.
No, they are different words. They're different words.
Right, but they're both used as names for God.
Yes.
But one word we like know how to pronounce, but the Yud-Hey Vav-Hey that he just gave two English translations for, that is the word that we don't know the pronunciation for, and we don't want to mispronounce. Okay, go on. That's the tradition.
Yeah, and this whole last paragraph in parentheses also correct about where he says only the high priest once a year in the temple for a specific sacrifice will pronounce it, and so on and so forth. That is correct.
Yeah. So Gary Gygax pulled the name of the Duke of Tenh from the book of Exodus.
So that is one explanation. The next explanation is in the next comment from Michael Gross.
Oh, okay.
Okay, which is perhaps Ehyeh is Pig Latin for yeah, or perhaps Wisconsin's proximity to Canada is in view, in quotation marks, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the sages of Greyhawk on Cannon Fire, etc. might say. Terrific discussion nonetheless.
So it's because he's so close to Canada that he's like, hey, take off, eh?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, you're talking like the Mackenzie brothers, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, where's your toque? Hey, we have ways to make you pronounce the letter O. Oh, okay. Sorry, Canada, we love you.
Yeah.
We really love you. The McKenzie brothers are awesome. By the way, have you? Yeah, you've
Yes.
seen that. Yeah.
Yes.
Take off, hoser. Okay.
All right. The next comment is also from Michael Gross. He says, "Good point about players writing down spell stats for play at the table."
But how interesting that Gary Gygax names the Duke of Ten. Wait, what's the name of the Duke of Ten in the original Blackmore setting?
I don't know.
Oh.
That'd be fascinating.
Oh, now I got to go look that up because that might be something that Dave Arneson came up with.
It's possible.
Did Gary borrow the name of the Duke? He borrowed the Duchy of Ten from
Blackmore.
From Blackmore.
Yeah.
So I wonder in the Blackmore setting if Ehyeh is the name of the Duke of Ten in the Blackmore setting, because if it is, then it's a Dave Arneson creation. It may not be a Gary creation.
Now we're getting really deep into the name of the Duke of Ten.
I'm not gonna. I have a copy of the first fantasy campaign. I'm not gonna go digging in all that old stuff right now. Okay.
Next video we will have this information.
No, we won't. You
Next
can
video,
look it up.
we will not have this information.
Come on, man. I'm so far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't.
Okay.
There are limits. Yeah. Go on.
It says, okay. Good point about players writing down spell stats for play at the table. One of my players wrote her spells on index cards and kept them all in a recipe card box. When she picked her spells for the day, she would have a personal deck of spell cards ready to go. That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's so helpful if the player knows how long it takes for to cast their spell. If the player knows, information about their weapons, basic stuff. It's just helpful at the game table.
Yeah.
So that the DM doesn't have to stop and look it up.
Yeah.
Amen.
Next comment from Michael Gross as well says, "Big props to Ethan for the Johnny Cash reference."
Yeah.
Thank you. I do like Johnny Cash. I'm not a big country fan, and everybody can attack me for that if they want to, but I do really like, the Highwaymen, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, and I'm forgetting the last person's name.
Waylon Jennings?
Waylon Jennings,
Was
yes.
it?
Thank
Am
you.
I right?
Yes.
Am
Yeah.
I right?
Yeah, I like them. I think they're great, and I really enjoy their music. So, yeah.
And it's all my fault because, I showed him one of their concerts when he was young. Okay.
I don't even remember that, but I did find it a year ago.
I sat down,
and
you and your mom in the living room, and I played one of their concerts on TV for you guys.
It's so good, though. Anyway, okay. And then I went and I got
You were
all
young.
my friends into it. Now all my friends like it, and it's all hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not even a country music guy, but
But
Johnny Cash.
But it's great.
Johnny
You can't
Cash
even-
transcends. He transcends.
Yeah.
He's not just a country music guy. He's the guy
He's
who
a
played.
great musician.
Yeah.
A great music writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good voice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Next comment is from Authoritative News Network. Says, "Your confusion about the monk's movement speed sent me back to the books, where I noticed the monk's special ability and remembered an earlier gripe you'd had about they get to 6th level and they can feign death.
Feign death.
Feign death.
So I gotta stop right there.
Okay.
I think you're thinking about another video, man, because I have not mentioned that skill at all on YouTube in this series.
Yeah, I don't recall it.
Yeah,
I don't even think we have a monk.
with respect, I think you're thinking about somebody else.
Do we have a monk?
Yeah,
we do have a monk.
one.
Okay.
But I have not mentioned the feign death skill at 6th level. I mean, it's there, but it hasn't come up. Mm-hmm. So I think you're thinking of you were watching somebody else talking about the monk, and you're thinking about that.
Yeah. And then continues to go on and say the ability to use self-induced catalepsy.
Let me see it. I can't see it.
Right there.
Catalepsy
To appear dead. This can be done perfectly as the 6th or higher level monk is able to lower his or her body temperature and heart rate. The monk is able to maintain this state for twice the number of turns, 10-minute periods, which is equal his level, i.e. 12 turns at 6th level, 14 at 7th, etc. Does this not mean that, especially when combined with the monk's ability to hide in shadows as a thief of equivalent level, 37%, they are rendered near invisible to foes that rely on infravision?
Okay, so that's an interesting question, but that is not something we have discussed.
Yeah. No.
I think you're responding to something else you read or something else you saw on YouTube, because we haven't discussed that at all.
And then
in any of our videos.
And then in a comment responding to that comment, he goes on and says, and only because it comes up a couple of times, if a pond is indicated, the terrain it is in is the same as is the same as that of the previous
Okay,
space.
that's a different subject.
Okay.
All right, so back to the first subject. So I guess he's asking, and there's not really any precedence, because we have not discussed
monks really at all.
We haven't discussed this specific skill at all in this series or on YouTube at all, or anywhere else online. So I think that you're responding to somebody else on accident. However, so he is saying if you can hide in shadows. Okay, so he is saying because you can hide in shadows and you can feign death, does that mean that somebody who has infravision can't see you? Like by feigning death, can you drop your body temperature low enough?
That is fascinating.
It is. I don't know the answer.
I don't either. But that is very interesting. Can you like creep in the shadows and lower your body temperature enough that you're essentially invisible?
To me, feigning death is looking like you're not breathing, and lowering your heart rate so much that nobody can check your pulse and read your pulse. To me, that's like nobody can look at you and see that you're breathing or that you're alive. Mm-hmm. I don't think that means you can lower your body temperature to the point that you are not warm anymore. I would not rule that way, but
I mean, you lower your body temperature enough and you're going to die. I don't know.
For real.
Yeah.
You would die for real.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can't lower it too much because you will go into... You're going to go into shock.
So, Authoritative News Network. Thanks. Interesting food for thought. But that is not something I've griped about. We haven't even discussed it. You're thinking of somebody else. But interesting food for thought. Thank you.
Okay, and then he says, and only because it comes up a couple of times. If a pond is indicated, the terrain it is in is the same as that of the previous space.
Good to know, because I didn't...
And then,
I mean, that's fine by me. I didn't see that, though.
On. And then he says, if a depression is indicated, the referee must decide as to its nature and extent. Generally, the terrain it is in must be the same as the previous space. A depression in a marsh is some form of lake.
Oh.
Which makes sense.
If the base terrain is a marsh, and there's a depression, then it would be a lake, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, that's common sense. I don't know where he's getting this from, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because last time when we were rolling in error.
Yeah.
We did come up with a pond. We ended up scrapping it, but then the question was, what's the terrain around it? Because all it says is pond. Pond is an option. Yeah. So right. So what you're trying to say is, like, if you're in a rough terrain and you roll a pond, then for the next hex over, then it's going to be rough terrain with a pond in it.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
Okay.
All right. Next comment is from Mike Dymart, who says, great listen, looking forward to you guys delving into the dungeon.
Thanks, Mike. We're there. We're finally at the dungeon, man. We're finally at the dungeon. Where is the dungeon? Here's the dungeon. Here's the dungeon. We're finally at the dungeon. We made it to the dungeon.
Yeah.
We're a mile from the dungeon.
Yeah.
So our next, what we have to do is we have to key the dungeon.
Yes.
Before we step into the dungeon, we have to key it, right?
That's correct.
I mean, we could just roll it as we go, but no, I think we should key it ahead of time.
I agree.
Because, I mean, if you make some noise,
something might come out of a room.
Right, and you need to know ahead of time what's in that room.
I agree.
So I think we need to key the first level. We need to key it before we walk into it.
I agree.
And we'll figure out how to do that. There's Wandering Monsters. Maybe that will help us. Oh, 1 in 6 roll every second turn. Woo! Goblins, zombies, orcs, kobolds, crab spider, or troglodytes. Those are the only options for Wandering Monsters. We'll stick to that. We'll use that. Are you okay?
Yes.
You see your phone on the floor. But this instruction on how to key the dungeon, I don't love it. Like, it's not even a rollable chart. I'll read through it again, but I think that what we've decided to do is we're going to use the random tables from Monster Manual 2 for the first level of a dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
it?
That's the last comment.
All right. But we're not going to start rolling stuff right now.
Yeah.
That was our question. We didn't know where we were going to end this. We're going to end this right now. Your comments at the end. Anything else?
I think that is all. Have a happy new year.
So should we roll? We should roll on camera. I think it'll be boring as hell.
Let's roll on camera. I don't think it'll take us too much time.
Like, the first encounter area is the entrance hallway.
Yeah. No, I think we can get this keyed up pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to take us too long to roll all this stuff once we actually figure out how we're going to.
So should we roll a monster and a treasure for every encounter area? Or should we stick to one of the tables that gives a chance to have an empty encounter area?
I like the idea of using at least something similar to what Gary Gygax put in the strategic review.
So you think there should be a chance for a room to be empty?
Yeah, because when you're, in a lot of other adventures, when you're running through dungeons, not everything is full.
But, okay, so there's 37 encounter areas here. So if only 60% of those...
So I'm not saying we have to use the same statistics as the one that Gary Gygax lays out, but I think maybe something similar. I don't know.
But we need to know. We need to decide.
I know.
Not right now, but we need to decide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll probably maybe talk about that off camera, but we'll key it on camera.
Yeah.
So probably when we return, we will be keying... using the tables in the game to key the dungeon.
Yeah.
And then we will be ready to dive into the dungeon.
Yes. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
It is exciting.
Okay.
We're almost there. We're almost at the point where we can dive into this dungeon.
Thanks for sticking with us. It took us a couple of days to film this, to record this.
Yeah.
And many pauses. And I'm still enjoying this, and I'm still, I still want to get into the dungeon and see what happens.
I agree.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
But it's been difficult lately for us to motivate ourselves, to get the energy, and to find the time to be together and do this.
Yep.
So if Ethan can get this all edited, I will release this on New Year's Day. But again, he may not be able to get it done in time. And then after that, I've got a video ready to go it's already uploaded to YouTube. It's already, all I have to do is hit the publish key, but I want to get this one out first.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you. Oh, whoa. Happy New Year. Yeah. Healthy New Year.
Yeah.
2025. I hope that it is just a good year for everybody.
I agree. Yep.
Okay.
All right.